Because the filmmaking thing gave me so many opportunities to try out other art forms, man. And when I got back to the place where I was like, oh shit, I'm an artist. I'm not just one thing. I could be a bunch of things. And if I got to feed my muse, if I got to respect the muse of an artist, I got to listen to what the muse is saying. And the muse said to me, and this was about 2007, 2008, the muse said to me, Snoogans, because it was Jason Mewes. The muse said to me, like, you're done, man. Like, I was on the set of Zack and Miri, and I love Zack and Miri. I think it's a funny movie, and I think Seth Rogen and Banks elevated it and fucking crushed it and saved that movie. But when I watch it, that movie says nothing new. Like, when I got into the business of making films, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, I was pushing at the edge of the envelope, Dogma, trying to do something that didn't exist before. Like, that's why Clerks exists, because I love the movies, but I never saw Clerks. I was looking for one movie about me and my friends. I'd seen movies about high schoolers, and John Hughes did a wonderful job of capturing that genre for my age group when we were teenagers in the 80s, but still never saw myself completely reflected in a John Hughes movie. I mean, I definitely identified more with Molly Ringwald than anything else. So never really saw a movie made about me and my friends. And so one day I was like, you know what, man? I saw Richard Linklater's film Slacker. We're here in Austin, and it was a profoundly moving moment for me. My 21st birthday, August 2nd, 1991. I watched this movie and I'm like, this counts, and not in a bad way. Like, some people go like, what, you don't like Richard? I love Richard Linklater. He opened the door for everything that I've done for the last 20 years for me personally by making that movie Slacker. But Slacker was an empowering film the way later on people would tell me Clerks was an empowering film. It was a film that you looked at and it just made you want to be an artist. Like, I went on the John Lennon bus yesterday. Avid produces or co-funds this John Lennon bus, not for profit, where these 3-4 dudes on this bus have it tricked out with all this like recording equipment, gorgeous instruments, green screen, you could shoot a video. It's a fully mobile working studio, and they take it into schools and shit, you know, definitely not so fortunate schools, but they also take them to fucking regular fortunate schools, I guess, private schools, and they introduce people who maybe never exposed themselves to music, to the idea of making art. And it sounds artsy-fartsy and shit. You've seen many videos about shit like this, and you're like, oh, that's sweet. Yesterday I went on that fucking bus, and they had a drum kit sitting there, and it was an electronic drum kit dialed in where you could change it to like fucking outer space drum beat, fucking salsa beat, jazz. I'm not musical at all, man, but suddenly you start tapping that thing, and suddenly you're just there, and suddenly the possibility opens up. Like, I was hitting enough things where I was like, I can make a fucking song. Why didn't I never do this before, man? If the tools are there and the willingness is there, the artist in you just kind of reaches for it, just wants to kind of create. That's kind of what's inside. If you're sitting in this room, chances, and even if you're sitting in this room hoping to hear something useful about business, chances are there's an artist inside you that brought you to this place first and foremost. Because, look, you can make money and do business in any other line of work. You've chosen probably one of the most difficult to break into, entertainment. You want to talk about the eye of the needle that Jesus talked about in the fucking Bibles and shit? Getting into the fucking eye of the needle of Hollywood is real fucking difficult, particularly for a fat man. So, the important thing, at least, and I can't tell you what the secret is, I wish I could write a formula down and hand it to you. The thing you got to remember is to serve yourself, and that's what I've done every step of the way. Serve the artist inside. Listen to the muse and make sure that you're honoring that. When I made Clerks and when I made all those flicks, I had something to say. I desperately had to get it off my chest. I was in a place where I was like, if I don't fucking make this movie, I will die. And then I got to a place years later where I was like, if I don't make this movie, I'll make another movie. Because that's what I do for a living. They pay me to just make pretend. And I didn't take it for granted. I never did. But you just get comfortable with it. And that movie money is like heroin. I don't care how much it is, man, whether you're making like fucking Tim Burton money or Kevin Smith money. The moment somebody starts paying you to make pretend, you are fucking hooked, man. And suddenly you forget the artist that called you there in the first place. You forget all the reasons why you even have that job. And you're just like, you're going to pay me millions of dollars to make up a fucking stupid story about my friend putting his hand down his pants? I love America. You know? And then you get to a point where you realize you're just career managing. You're not making art anymore. I was making art in the beginning, and then I got into a career management phase. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, as much as I love that movie, man, that's probably the last thing I did, the last vestige of the Kevin Smith that wrote Clerks and Mallrats and Chasing Amy and Dogma. All those movies were pre-written in the head of a kid who sat at 21 Jackson Street, Highlands, New Jersey, for 21 years just waiting for that moment to tell those stories. So by the time somebody opened the door this fucking much, I spilled in, man, like the liquefied Terminator, because I just wanted to be in that room, and I was fucking prepared, man. And when opportunity, like that's a wonderful saying that I've always loved, opportunity opens the door this fucking much. Smart people only need this. And that's what I saw. I saw an opportunity. I jumped in there and I was like, shit, man, I want to create something, a movie for me and my friends that I hadn't seen before. And it created a career. It literally gave me a career. And there I am sitting on the set of Zack and Miri years later, and I said, this is fun, I love this movie, but this is regurgitative. Like, I'm no longer pushing at the edge of the envelope. I'm literally just retelling my own origin story. I've run out of shit to say. So much so that I'm going back and telling people the story of Clerks through a porn prism in which my producer Scott Mosier is a girl that I fuck. That's no longer art, man. That's just weird and shit like that.